Hi, welcome back to Reading with Money. I'm Money, and today I'm doing my June wrap-up. So, I read 9 books in June. I don't know how, because it's a school month, meaning that I teach for most of the day, so I don't know how this happened, but it did. I finished 9 books. I also read like 3,000 pages in the month, which is like a lot more than I usually manage, so yes. Pretty pleased with that. Not that I care exactly about how many books I read, but like the quality of what I'm reading, and it was a pretty good month. So let me tell you about the books I read. No, wait. First, I'll tell you about the readathon that I was participating in, which was the Whatever You Want-a-thon or whateverthon readathon. I was part of the Sunset Scholars team. Here's my bingo. I don't know if you can see that. I did not get a blackout because I didn't read any book which had dragons in it, or a book about books, which is weird because I usually, it's one of my favorite tropes, but I didn't get any of those this month. And I didn't read in any different format because, yeah, I read physical books or ebooks, and that's pretty much it. And I didn't do the poll, and I didn't read any 2021 releases. So, but I did get quite a lot of bingos, like 3 bingos? No, I think I got more than 3. Hold on. 4. I think I got 4 bingos. I hope I passed my points correctly, because now I don't know. Anyway, I was pretty pleased with all of that, and yeah, now let's just get to the books. So, the first book I finished in June was actually one that I had started in May. Like, I read 40% of it in May, and then I finished the rest of it in June, and that was The Witches of New York by Amy McKay. I absolutely loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was super atmospheric. It makes you want to be a witch. Even though I don't believe in any of those things, but it just makes me want to go out and, I don't know, start getting my tarot readings and my tea leaves read and like all of those things, and getting crystals and yeah, I don't believe in any of that, but I want to. Wait, I should tell you what the book is about. The book is about 3 witches who live in New York. And someone who is like hunting them, because of course there's always a man, a religious zealot who, is after the witches. What I really liked about the book is the relationship between the 3 witches, because the 3 women are completely different, and they're different ages, they have different backgrounds, they have different motivations for the things that they do. Even their magic itself is different, and the way that they support each other and help each other, and just, female friendship, love it. I need more books like that. So yes, that was the best part for me. Also, the plot itself was really fast-paced. I loved the side characters that we get to meet. I love the whole background of it. So yes, everything was great. I know that there's like some sort of sequel or companion book that I can't remember its name, but I'm definitely gonna be reading it soon, because yes, I really love that book. Next, I read Agnes Grey. What did I read next? Next, I read Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. This was the last Bronte I hadn't read from, so I was very glad to cross this off my list finally. I love this book. I mean, I love classics and I love the Brontes, so I knew I was gonna like it. This is about Agnes Grey, who goes out into the world to help her family, so that she's no longer a burden on the family. So she goes out and works as a governess for different families. And it's just her story with her first experience in the first house, which is not very good, or her second experience in the second house, which is also not very good. But that's where she meets the love of her life. It was just delightful to read. As a teacher, like, yes, I could relate to many of the things that she explores here, obviously. And Bronte is speaking a lot from her own experience because she was also a governess. And yeah, the things that she says about how, you know, if parents are not aligned with what you're supposed to be doing, then it's kind of pointless. Obviously, like, we have that in our own society nowadays in a different way, obviously. But yes, like, she's not allowed to discipline the kids, so how are they supposed to obey her? Anyway, I found those things really interesting. The love story I found really wholesome and lovely, unlike, you know, her sister's work, which their love stories are not, well, at least the ones I've read, you know, dark and twisted. This is not. So yes, all in all, really enjoy this. I do have The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, which I have also not read, and I will probably pick it up soon because I really enjoy this. 5 stars. Next I read, what did I read next? Next I read How to Be Perfect by Michael Shore. This is a non-fiction about philosophy. If you have seen The Good Place, the show, which is one of my all-time favorite TV shows, if you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're doing, go watch it. But basically it's an exploration of all the philosophical currents and theories, I guess, that are explored in the show, but told through a very, very funny book. Yes, I just loved it. I got a really good refresher on a lot of things that I already had studied or knew, you know, from school. But yes, I thought it was really well done, a really good introduction to philosophy if you're new, and especially moral philosophy. And yeah, truly enjoyable, lots of highlights that I have. I made a lot of highlights, and I need to get a physical copy of this book so that I can, you know, physically annotate it, because I think it's one of those books that I'm gonna be revisiting in the future. So yes, highly, highly recommend if you're looking for an easy introduction into philosophy, I guess. Next, I read Lustrum by Robert Harris, which is the second part of his Cicero series, which is the life of Cicero, basically. It's narrated by Cicero's assistant slash slave, Tito, and he was actually famous for inventing a shorthand system, and well, because he was transcribing every speech made by Cicero and all of those things. In fact, it is believed that he actually did write a biography of Cicero. In fact, it's referenced in other works of history, but it got lost. So it's like Robert Harris like redid it. The previous book, Imperium, had finished when Cicero is elected as consul. So Lustrum starts, you know, when his consulship starts, which is like the highest point in his career, because that's like the highest point that you can get in Roman politics. And then it all goes downhill from there, because, you know, we have all the turmoil of Caesar and Pompey, and yeah, things start getting really, really bad for the Republic, and it ends with Cicero actually being exiled. So yes, I finished Lustrum, and I could not read the last book. So I actually ended up picking up Dictator, which was not on my TBR, but I had to. Especially because I flew through Lustrum. I read it in like a couple of days. So, and I was actually home then. I think that was the weekend I got COVID. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna finish this book. So I got Dictator. And again, we follow Cicero from his comeback from his exile to his death, basically. Oh, such an emotional roller coaster. It was so good, fascinating. The intricacies of the politics of Roman times, how Caesar just rises through the ranks, and like he just does whatever, and yeah, everything. And then Caesar's assassination is also portrayed in the book, the whole plot. And then, well, we get Octavian, and yeah, it's just fascinating. Yes, if you have ever had any interest in ancient Rome, especially Caesar's time, I really, really recommend this series. It was fast-paced, the stakes are super high, even though you do know how the story will end, but still. And I found Tito to be such an excellent narrator, and his story, his personal story is so moving. I just loved it. I should pick up more of Robert Harris books because I really, really enjoy them. Then I finally picked up my sister's recommendation, and that was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I enjoyed this book. I have a vlog if you want to watch it, and I give more of my thoughts on it. I gave it 4 stars. It was definitely what I expected it to be, because at this point I've been on BookTube a while, so I knew what this book was about, mostly. I knew it wasn't a romance per se, and like I said in my vlog, I do think that this is a very personal story for the author, and I thought that the themes were really well explored. But yes, we are following this abusive relationship and how this woman deals with it, and the ways that she finds to deal with it, and all the consequences it bears. And yeah, all in all, I enjoyed reading this. I'm glad I read it. Can't really say much more about it. Then I finished, because I had started it a while before because I was following along with the read along, and I finished The Lost Future of Pepperharrow, which is one of my all-time favorite books. Katie from Books and Things was hosting a read along for this book, and so I had started it a few days before, and right after I finished It Ends With Us, I finished this. I love this book. What can I say? Rereading this was just an absolute joy. I find myself thinking about a particular scene in this book like constantly ever since I read it back in 2020, so rereading this was just the best thing. I tabbed my favorite moments and favorite quotes from this. I love this book so much. I love Natasha Pulley so much. I can't tell you what this book is about, but it's historical fiction with magical realism. It's set mostly in Japan, and there's a lot of supernatural elements in this. The plot is super fast-paced and super complicated and convoluted, and you just love it. But then that's not the most important thing. I love this book so much. If you haven't read this series, I highly, highly recommend this, because it's just a joy. Such a amazing. I'm gonna stop before I don't know, spoil everything. All right, moving on. Sorry. The next book I read was Dawn by Octavia E. Butler. This is the start of the Xenogenesis series, or Lilith's Brood, I think it's also called. I was fascinated by this book. This is science fiction. It's about this woman who wakes up after this annihilation event on Earth, like nuclear war between United States and Russia or whatever. And so the few humans that have survived have been picked up by this alien race, and they're on a ship and they are being studied, basically. These aliens are alien. Like, it's been a while since I've read science fiction which includes aliens that are so different from humans. Like, that was fascinating. They have, oh my god, I really should just do a video about this book, because there's so many things to talk about. So I'm just gonna say that I gave it 5 stars. I thought all the themes that were explored in this book were just fascinating, and they blew my mind, and especially because it was written like in the 70s. So the aliens have like a third gender, and their relationships are like one female, one male, and then this neutral gender. They even call them it, like the pronoun is it. Everything was just absolutely fascinating. The other fascinating thing, how many times can I say fascinating, is like the human reactions to the aliens, because the aliens are waking them up, and like the survivors, and try to train them so that they can go back to Earth and repopulate Earth, basically. And like the human interactions and the way that humans react to the aliens and whether they believe or not in the aliens and what they are doing and where they are, and like, oh, such an amazing exploration of humanity. I just can't wait to read the rest of the series, but I didn't get it on my TBR, so I don't know. We'll see what happens in July, because I read quite a lot more than I thought I would in June, so, and I am on holiday now, so who knows. But yes, definitely, oh my god, amazing book. And we have the last book. The last book I read, oh my god, the last book I read in June was The Half-Life of Valery K. by Natasha Pulley. This is like my most anticipated book for all the year, probably. I haven't got my physical copy yet because it got delayed on the post, so I got a digital copy and I started reading it immediately. I don't know what to say. I am currently editing a vlog that I did. I think I'm gonna leave all the spoilers in, so I'm gonna try to talk about this book without bursting. So let me tell you what this book is about, and then just, yeah. This book is historical fiction set in the 60s in Russia, so USSR. Valery is the scientist who was in the Gulag, thank you, who was in the Gulag until he is requested by his old mentor to go to this mysterious city called City 40 and work on some radiation studies that they are doing in that city, because that city is like a whole research facility for radiation. Once he gets there, though, he sees that things are not what they seem, like the radiation levels are not what they're telling him, so he's just trying to investigate and see what is happening and like what he can do about these things. And like, listen, have you seen the show Chernobyl? It's that, but in a book, but it's also a true story. I didn't know that it was a true story. I think Natasha Pulley just got the same level of obsession that I did with Chernobyl and just decided to write a book on it, because yeah, it's like, I don't know what to say. I love Natasha Pulley so much. I love this book so much. There are so many things that I can't talk about in this wrap up, so I'll just, you know, you can watch that vlog when it comes up. I don't know what I'm going to post first, but I can't. Natasha Pulley is a genius. She has the amazing ability to create characters that you feel instant empathy for. Like Valery just became my favorite character of all time, just from the first few pages. They're so complex and so the way that she built relationships between them as well. I don't know, everything was just incredible. I love this book. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but yes, go read it. It's historical fiction. I love how Natasha Pulley, like, she is known for writing historical fiction with touches of magical realism, like all her previous books have been, and this one is just straight up historical fiction, not set in the 19th century. Like, who is she? Like, her talent, I just can't. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling about Natasha Pulley now. I think I'm gonna have to finally make a whole video just about her and her books and why I love them so much. But I don't know if I'll ever be coherent enough to be able to do that instead of just rambling at you like this. Anyway, those are the 9 books I read in June. Yes, those are the 9 books I read in June. It was an excellent reading month. I absolutely loved everything I read. Let me know that in the comments below if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. And yeah, that's it. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you haven't already if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, happy reading.